So my story has a lot of twists and turns. My story has never been a straight line. Okay? So trust me on this. The struggles which I have seen, I don't want my daughter to go through that. Whatever life has challenges gives you is understood. You have to deal. When your surroundings give you challenges, that becomes
Yeah.
unacceptable. Completely into, because some people also said it is haunted. I said nothing matters. But wherever I went, Anish, I got people who trusted me whatever the way we have vision. So my vision has been consistent how I want to grow Akarshan and the way I want to grow Akarshan. But we Indians has to come out of our insecurity because we have money. There was so much wrong practices that people could not abide by the basics.
Yeah.
And he started Lamborghini as a tractor company. And then he started building cars and he wanted his car to be better than Ferrari. So I say no dream is a big dream if you have passion towards it. Hard work pays in the long run, keep it up. Then the gemstone will not come to you. Gemstones only will come to you when you have rich mentality.
My next guest on today's podcast is Shweta Pathak. From working in IBM as a technical individual to running a company called Aakarshan Jewellers, it's been a fruitful journey for Shweta. I'm really pleased to have her on the show, and her amazing stories and the journey which she's had to be where she is, to be one of the most loved, as well as a very innovative and an interesting way to look at jewelry, and more importantly to look at gems in India. Shweta is a force to reckon with. So without much further ado, let me get on with it. Hi Shweta, welcome to Masters Decoded Podcast Season 3. Really glad to have you on the show today.
Thanks so much, Anish, and I'm glad that you invited me here, and I'm equally privileged. Thank
You're
you.
welcome, Shweta. And when I was looking at your LinkedIn profile, it was very interesting for me personally, right? It's like a boomerang which you had in your career. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
Uh, you did your graduation in gemology. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, actually, I'm an engineer in computer science. So my graduation is computer science engineering, and then I did my master from Symbiosis in networking, and then I was placed with IBM into Java J2E. So I coded for 4 years. Then I had my marriage and my daughter, so I did my executive MBA from IIFT Delhi, soon to fill the gap which I had taken for my daughter. Then I had my own IT setup for a year or so called Agile IT. Then I joined Tech Mahindra in business development in the BPM group, and then I got into strategy in Tech Mahindra. After that comes a point in my life where I had to take a call because my parents weren't happy with my work-life balance, and I had my daughter who was a little delicate, darling, so had little responsibilities to take care of. So my everyone asked me to quit my
Wow.
corporate job. So I wondered because I had a love marriage and I had a lot of things around it. So I was like, if I won't work, what I'm gonna do? So then my father is into spirituality. So he had a lot of these gemstones and strings and all. So I picked up the strings and I did my first exhibition in Gehna, Pune. So when I got these strings, because since I'm a person of knowledge, I could not sell it without knowing what I'm selling. So what I had done, I inquired. I'm a very inquisitive soul. I'm like an explorer. So I found out things that there is Jayashree Panjikar, who is the first gemological faculty of India, in Pune. So I got my strings certified from her so that I know what
Right.
I'm selling. So that was my first step towards knowing what I'm selling. When I did that exhibition at Gehna Laminated, because I had not invested on the strings, I had got it from my father. I thought I made good money. So I got very happy
Okay.
around it. So then, yeah. So then I thought, ki without knowledge, if I could do this much, why not I get into it? So then I pursued it, my complete gemology from Jayashree Panjikar. So while learning gemology from her, somehow I had this feeling that diamond grading I want to do from somewhere else. But everything I was doing around my 3 or 4 year old daughter. Now she's 16 plus, but that time she was like around 4 years. So I had to take a lot of considerations
Yeah.
doing whatever I'm doing. So then I was traveling somewhere, and as I said, this was a destiny call for me. I came across a book, and in that book, I got to know about GIA. I got to know about Surat Mandi as well. So what happened after that, Anis? I saw GIA. I went to GIA website. I inquired the courses which are there, and then I found a distance learning course in diamond grading, in which I had to go only 2 weeks for the
Oh.
lab. So it was comfortable for me with my daughter to
Hmm.
pursue that. So I said, "Kid, this looks good to me." I started my diamond grading because gemology I did full fledged because I was in Pune and Jayashree Panjikar ma'am was based out of Pune that time. So I did my gemology properly. But for diamond grading, I went to like I took this online course. Then for 2 weeks, I went to Bombay to do my gemology lab. And in lab also, I was lucky enough to be, found Nirupa Bhatt ma'am and everybody, and all my faculty. They were very understanding to me. They understood that I want to understand beyond 4 C's of diamond. I want to understand about natural
Yeah.
fancy color diamond because that was another thing which my father has opened up for me. I saw diamonds in many colors, and nobody was teaching about it, nobody was
Hmm.
talking about it. So that caught my attention, and I said, "Ki when diamond exists in pink, champagne, blue, green, you name the color, and natural diamonds exist in those colors." But nobody was talking about it. And then when I went to GIA for my lab, I requested my teacher to teach about fancy color diamond, which they created a presentation for me. No, for my because of me, my whole class got benefited, and we all got taught about the national fancy color diamonds. So this is the
Wow.
education part.
So it's been a long journey, and from an engineering perspective, right, to moving into a gemology and focusing on building a entire startup. But you spoke about one piece which kind of caught my attention is that you had a love marriage, okay,
Yes.
and it had its own issues. I would use that word as part of that marriage. If you're open to share, I'm sure the families had certain concerns about the marriage overall. Is that correct?
Yes. Actually, my father wasn't happy with my marriage at all because I married my
Hmm.
own classmate, and my husband he belonged to a family because I belonged to a well-to-do family. My mother was a very renowned doctor, and she had provided me everything best in life, and I studied in the best of the schools. I never had to thought about selecting any colleges and all. On the other hand, my husband came from a background where he had education loan. He had no financial support from his family and other details around it. But since we were classmates and I knew him as a human, I thought we'll be able to make money for ourselves and we'll settle down on our on our as no because we both are educated
Hmm.
enough to do that. So that was a plunge I had taken. So when I married him, I took a home, like I bought my
Okay.
own home in Pune
Okay.
as a fresher. So that time my seniors and everybody was like, "Shweta, we are now working for 10, 12 years and we have not thought about buying our own house." But I thought instead of paying rent, I should pay my home loan. And I think it was one of the wisest decision I took, Anis, that time, because that property really helped us, giving me a base, कहते
एक
हैं ना,
launch pad, एक basic launch
financial
pad मिल गया आपको.
security. Yeah, yeah. Because that time I bought a Pune home in
Wow.
2005. I'm talking about. I bought a home in Pune in 2005. It was a row house for
Wow.
19.44
Okay. I'm
lakhs.
sure it has at least
Yeah.
10 times appreciated, not less than that.
Yeah, it's around 10 times. So when we sold it off at a good price. And then because when we settled back to
Uh,
Bhopal, so my story has a lot of twists and turns. My story has never been a straight line. My story has a lot of twists, plots, drama. I have stayed in London also for some time during my
wow.
maternity leave, and a lot of things has happened around in my career and my journey. I was a quality ambassador in IBM. I was a key talent in IBM. So my journey has all highs and lows, and all the surrounding circumstances, uh, my share of struggles and my share of dealings with my challenges. So my journey has been through and through, on and off. Like, do keep. I have say my life has been a roller coaster. I just kept moving
Okay. That's
around.
good. I hope everything is fine with your family now. With it's
Certainly,
been more
yes,
than
certainly
16
we
years, as
are.
your daughter is 16, so it's been more than
Yeah,
16 years now.
yes,
Yeah.
it's more than 18 years
Yeah.
plus.
So
Yeah.
no, congratulations on keeping your head high in those interesting times. But you know, when you think about your own career, Shweta, and I'm sure there are a lot of girls and ladies and women today who are going through that same phase as you are, right? Who've taken steps like you, who've taken an independent step that, yeah, मुझे love marriage करनी है. The person whom I'm meeting, I don't look at that person's background, uh, financially, religiously, which is a big thing in India. Uh, Stature, stay level, and all of that, caste, all of the
Anis, but you are talking to a person who is a
yes.
mother now. ठीक है? So trust me on this, the struggles which I have seen, I don't want my daughter to
So
go through that.
let's say, let me ask you a question here. If your daughter says, I want to do a love marriage to somebody who doesn't belong to your caste or the level, will you be okay?
That's what I say. Now I would try seeing that, does that boy really like worth taking the plunge? Because okay, Parag, you see, he is being so supportive in many aspects. So sometimes the financial aspects take a sideline because he is so
Hmm.
good in other ways. He's a good gentleman. He's a good human. He has never raised his voice on me. So there are a lot of other parameters. So it is just not one side track. So you have to see holistically ki whether it is really worth the plunge
Okay.
or not.
Interesting. Now, how do you decide the plunge? Because how did you decide whether it's worth the plunge or not?
Actually, that's a very, as I said, like my father, when he had his share of anger when I was getting married, I could relate, but I knew that I'm marrying a gentleman. He's a good human, and we both were educated, and we both were from Symbiosis, and I knew that we'll manage things and we'll do things out. But then also, there are certain times when I could not do things the way I want to do because I have my share
Hmm.
of restrictions. So that really sometimes make you think twice ki, had it been the case I would have gone with somebody with whom my father would have chosen. I don't know how my, because we in a life is all about choices. We don't know, we make choices and then we have to see the consequences or the results whatever happens. So when it happens to the other person, because now we are seeing so many extremities in society as well. So you have to be, there are so many love marriages, the Delhi case which was a love
Yeah.
marriage case again. So you have to be cautious on the person you are
Okay.
trusting.
Interesting how conversations can move in different directions, right? I never intended this to be a love marriage
Yes.
discussion, and you and I are discussing about your love marriage and the society at large. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
building on to what you just said, Shweta, now you've had interesting pressure coming in from your family saying that boss job छोड़ दो क्योंकि तुम्हारे छोटे बच्चे हैं
Yeah.
छोटा बच्चा है तुम उसे ध्यान दो घर देखो and yada 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 and you take a very different bold step, राइट आपने जॉब तो
Yes.
छोड़ा छोड़ा बट आपने तो सीधा कंपनी चालू कर दी, राइट विच इज वो एक कुएं से निकल के
Because
आपने खाई में गिरे, राइट बेसिकली दैट्स हाउ इट इज. So
definitely,
how is
definitely.
that taken from your family perspective, right?
Actually, honest, I'm telling you, my family, I'm like 40 plus, but still my family is so restricted to my
Hmm.
travel and other things because they have their share of protective work. And I belong to a family, as I said,
Yeah.
which is well to do. So for them, it is like, but I, because once you're an educated person, you have your self esteem, you have your own self respect because you want anybody giving you, even if your parents are giving you something, it should be out of
Hmm.
happiness. You don't want just like this, although maybe because I've become a hard worker and I have been a person of who's has been a nerd. I had both maths and biology in my
Wow.
school days. So my mother wanted to be a doctor. I had loved maths and I used to score 100 on 100 maths. So I was a through and through hardworking human. So for me, sitting just doing nothing would have not made sense. But my own business gave me liberty where I could raise my daughter well. I could take up whatever challenges life threw to me in a right format, and I could whatever best possible way I could handle it. I have done that. So it is not like this. Ki my life had little things. I had a lot of things. My daughter was diagnosed with sleeping
Oh,
epilepsy when she
okay.
was 10. Yeah. So I have taken a lot of things in my life. So as I said, that was another phase in my life when I had to deal with this, and I had to see. I couldn't sleep for a whole year because we had put her on medication. So now it's been 5 years, and she is now 6 plus height and very beautiful girl, grown up perfect. Now we have started her weaning. She has no episode from 5 years. So life gives you challenges. It's not like this honey skill. It just things happen. You have to make things happen. You have to deal with whatever challenges life
Hmm.
has given you. But sometimes I only has one thing. Whatever life has challenges gives you is understood. You have to deal. When your surroundings give you challenges, that becomes
Yeah.
unacceptable because sometimes people who see you successful start putting
Yes.
hurdles around you, unnecessary traps, unnecessary politics, unnecessary things. That is something which is just disappointed to me from society because as it is we all got our share of things and struggles to deal with. in that we need support system. We need people who motivate us and who sees our talent and push us the next level instead of dragging us down. So that is a little disappointment I have seen in society. Rest, whenever whatever life happens, because life happens to everyone, life happens, and that we have to deal with our share of things.
So
Sure.
Shweta, you know, let's
Yeah.
flip this a little bit more, right? But how did you convince your
Hmm.
family that बॉस मुझे बिजनेस चालू करना है और वो भी जेमोलॉजी में, मुझे डायमंड्स के ऊपर काम करनी है, मुझे जाके वापस पढ़ना है, एंड योर पेरेंट्स आर सेइंग घर पे बैठो,
Hmm.
राइट, बच्चे के ऊपर ध्यान दो,
Yeah,
राइट?
I know.
So how did you
Yeah.
convince not only yourself, your parents, like you said, right? There are people around you who start putting these hurdles.
Hmm.
So how did you overcome those hurdles?
Yes. Actually, Anis, I'm a person. I said that when I did everything around my daughter. So I ensured that I abide by my family norms. There,
Hmm.
only the concern is that I should have time for my daughter. I managed everything around my daughter. Whatever I did, whatever courses I did, wherever I traveled, I took her along with me. So even I have no stories. Ki, even if I've gone to Velvet Case, so Velvet Case was one of the first companies I had no collaboration with, which was a marketplace for multiple jewelry, designer good stuff jewelry. So Runit Kapil has been a very good friend of mine. So they started Velvet Case that time, and I shifted to Bhopal. And
Wow.
I heard a very nice statement for me when I shifted to Bhopal that Shweta finished. People literally said ki Shweta finished. And I also thought, yeah, I'm shifted to Bhopal. And I started Aakarshan from Pune. Pune had a base, Pune had a market, Pune had a class, Pune had people.
Yep.
Bhopal, imagine in 2012 when I shifted back to Bhopal. Bhopal is actually a tier 3 city. It's a very
Yes.
conservative place, and people have their own mindset and they don't have a lifestyle. There are people are no still very conservative to many things for no going to pubs or disc or dressing up, the women's dressing. And there are a lot of taboos around women over here. So
Hmm.
I had it was a very big challenge for me, and I also thought ki I wanted to do this in Pune, and now I'm in Bhopal, and I really don't know how things gonna be like. But it's just that I when I started, as I said, things started falling in place. So I got a
Hmm.
call from my friend, and we were together in my schooling, and he said, "Ki Shweta, I've got my Dadaji's old house, which is a very old house. It was literally into his that phase." So I said, "Fine, no worries. I'll just go and check out." I went there, Anis. I sat beside. There was a sitting over near the tree in the entry. I sat there and I found some good vibes. I got good. I'm a person of vibes. I really liked it, and I said, "Ki I'm taking up this place." And from there, my journey started. To I took up the garage. That was the only good space in that entire house because it was a very old house, completely into. Because some people also said it is haunted. I said nothing matters. That garden had a lot of
भूतों भी हेल्प
crab and
करेंगे,
all those
भूतों
things.
भी हेल्प करेंगे डायमंड बनाने में.
Actually, I felt that because I should not speak like this, but it was
No?
supposed to be his Dadaji's ghost over there, and
Okay.
he always kept me protected. So that space was not a very safe space. There were a lot of snakes used to come out. I never encountered any snake over there. And
Okay.
till the time I was there in that place for 4 to 5 years, Anis, nothing happened. The moment I left that place, the roof fell down.
Oh wow.
Till the time I was there, nothing happened. Yeah, nothing happened till the time I was there. So they were actually protecting me.
Dadaji said, now
So I don't know
my job
whatever.
is done. My job is done. I think I need to give up this house.
Yeah. So that house got sold out also like all. But till the time I was in that house, and trust me on this, that garage also had converted so beautifully. Even that garden, that property got sold out in premier price. Matlab that time, earlier when I had not taken up that place, nobody was touching that place. It was empty for a long time. There were disputes and all those things going on. But the moment I took
Hmm.
up that place, I used to pay good rent and I had a chowkidar only, and I started as a solopreneur. I'm still a solopreneur for and now I've got a co-founder with me, and that also very eminent lady has joined Aakarshan to with me as a co-founder. But that time it was a no, literally I changed that place. Me and Parag, obviously Parag has a share of contribution. We made that place look so beautiful that people would come and appreciate the beauty of that garden. People
Wow.
would come in and appreciate the way we had transformed the garage. So it and I loved sitting there. And I have a lot of beautiful memories around that place.
Hmm.
And that whole garden belonged to the whole place belonged to me in that time, and I used to sit in that. I had a lot of selfies in that garden. So it's a through and through a good memory. But when uncle decided to sell out, I checked out with my neighbor who was like my whose mother was my first client's Kothari auntie. She was, I used to call her Amma. So then they were making their offices in basement. So uncle took out a place for me in basement as well. So then I shifted my studio to a basement. Then people had to say, why your basement? Why your basement? Then finally, like 12 months back, I've shifted to another place, which is a commercial complex. And now I'm in front, now my board is up and out. And till since then, people have other agendas against me because now I'm open and visible to, everywhere that my brand has come out in public.
Right. So, this conversation can go on for hours. Looks like you have many stories, right? We started off with
Yeah,
marriage, and then we can easily pivot into ghost
yeah,
stories right now as well, right? Or
yeah,
spirit stories. Instead of saying ghost, I would say spirit stories.
yeah,
Uh, but
yeah.
you know, एक business चालू करना is not easy, and
It's
specifically
not.
in the space which you are in, right? It is an expensive proposition. The business चालू करना is expensive, पहली बात तो,
Totally.
right? You need a lot of
Yes,
capital to do that, and especially in your
yes,
business, it is more capital intensive because वो diamonds लाना
yes.
and those raw diamonds are also not cheap, right? भले आप colored diamonds
Then
में काम
another thing,
करो,
even gold. I use only precious metal. I use only gold and platinum in my jewelry.
yeah,
And
तो
but you know
हाँ
what?
तो
Uh, hmm,
तो वो कहाँ से आया मतलब where did that capital come in? And sorry, I'm asking a very personal question.
yeah, you are asking a very fair question, and you know what? I always say this to my mother as well. The amount with which I started a business, people can't even open a grocery shop. I started with a capital of 8 and 10 lakh rupees, whatever I had my saving from my IT job.
Wow.
From that capital, I started. I had some gems from my father. I had some few fancy color diamond from my father. But whatever gold making and I did it from my own pocket.
Hmm.
So, and then before shifting to Bhopal, the first thing I did is completed my no home loan. I had education loan. I had completed after I got my key talent from IBM. So my husband's key home education loan I had completed during my job only. Home loan and car loan I completed after shifting to Bhopal. The first thing I said, I'm not starting business before completing all the liabilities or the loans. So
Hmm.
first thing, I got myself loan free before starting business. Then whatever amount I had left, I said, I had done everything in my own budget.
Right.
So I started my journey in such a way wherever I created small. I didn't create it too much. But wherever I went, Anish, I got people who trusted me. I got a mentor for me in a fancy color diamond, and he was so bugged up with his fancy color diamond collection because he was not able to sell anything from past 25 years. And
Wow.
because he would export, but he would not be able to sell anything in India because nobody knew that national fancy color diamonds exist.
Right.
He gave me his entire collection. Okay,
Wow.
then I went to another yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Then I went to another exhibition. There I had another manufacturer. So he said, Ki Shweta, we want to explore Bhopal market with you. So we'll do our first and they became our first manufacturer also. So we went together and they came to Bhopal. They did a huge exhibition in Bhopal. There were UB from Bombay who were my first manufacturers. So they were good people and we got a lavish exhibition done. After that, I told Parag, Manika Parag, after that exhibition, people should not exhibit, they should expect a great collection from me. So Parag said, no, Shweta, stay with what you have. And that's
Hmm.
what I did. I created my collection because I understood that only natural fancy color diamond would not be able to help me thrive. But I shifted to gemstone jewelry. I did not dilute myself further, no, to sell the regular jewelry like the normal retailers. I kept the niche, but instead of natural fancy color diamond, because it was too much to adjust or absorb for Indian people, I with velvet case I did natural fancy color diamond as an online collection. But for my studio, I did gemstone jewelry. So gemstone
Hmm.
jewelry was still doable in Indian markets. Even in Bhopal, I got some clients, and my clients are so loyal to me that I haven't lost a single client who has come to me yet. So
Wow.
whatever I have, they are with me from past 12 years. So I keep doing that, remodeling or custom designing because my own jewelry are very expensive. And
Hmm.
now I have my collection with Taj Palak Nama also, and I have my studio also, as I said in the commercial complex. But only thing I decided, I'm not gonna dilute myself with regular work. I'm gonna keep
Hmm.
my niche. So whatever money comes in, I rotate in my own business. Then we sold out our Pune property, we bought other properties and flipped some few more, few more money in my business. But still, whatever I did, I stayed in my within my parameters. I did not take money from anywhere. I did not take loan because I knew the moment I'll have burden, first thing is human does is dilution. We
Right.
tend to dilute the quality or the products or the product line, whatever the way we have vision. So my vision has been consistent how I want to grow Akarshan and the way I want to grow Akarshan. So realized that there's we have 100 years of legacy of jewelry industry and we don't have a single Tiffany from India. So
Yeah.
then comes the point of Nirav Modi. I say about Nirav Modi also that I admire Nirav Modi because if you
Hmm.
would not look at the financial aspect, what he did, he was the first one to get a peace auction in Christie's. So
Yeah.
Viren Bhagat and Nirav Modi, these are the only two jewelers so far, designer jewelers, whose pieces has been auctioned in Christie's and Sotheby's so far. And
Hmm.
this entire field, Anis, this line is beautiful. Jewelry line and especially high jewelry line is a very beautiful line. It's a very beautiful
Yeah.
world. But we Indians has to come out of our insecurity because we have money, but we don't have the heart to spend on the good things and the fine things in life. So
Yeah.
the moment we Indians start appreciating beauty in jewelry, the beauty in these gemstones as a part of legacy, as a part of collection, then you become the real rich.
Yeah. So, and
Yeah.
especially jewelry in India, right? Is a very unorganized business. What I mean by that is it's
Very
like the
unorganized
kirana
and it has
stores.
been taken as a commodity. Ah,
Yeah. It's like the kirana stores or the grocery in India, right? Like grocery now has become
yes,
more commercial. You have proper stores where you can buy grocery and all of that. पहले तो grocery was like गली गली के बाजार में मिलती थी, right? It was never commercialized. It was
exactly.
never
Ah,
structured. But if you look at jewelry, which is such a big business in India, right? India is one of the biggest spenders when it comes
yes,
to gold and silver and its overall jewelry, right? But it is a highly organized, right? I was watching some stats that only single digit percent is organized. 99% or 90% it is completely unorganized, and you have so many
totally.
small chuttu chuttu sorry, I'm using that word, stores, right? They may be making millions of money
Yes,
every day or every month, right? But they are so
totally.
unorganized,
Yes.
and that entire
And you know what, Anis, when hallmarking became compulsory in India, it has been nuisance in the industry. So much nuisance.
yeah,
Imagine hallmarking is nothing but something which is telling you to sell what you're saying.
yeah,
Hallmarking was not asking for anything. No, different. It was saying if you're selling 18 carat, give it an 18 carat. If you're but that got nuisance.
yeah,
You understand nuisance means that there was so much wrong practices that people could not abide by the basics.
yeah. तो ये
Yeah, because
unorganized.
people they say कि हमसे कमाओ, yeah, हमसे कमाओ मत, making charges मत लो. You're imagining something coming for free. Who is the product?
Yeah,
You or the product?
या एंड ये मेकिंग चार्जेस का तो इंडिया में तो बहुत बड़ा है, राइट? अरे इतना चार्ज करो, थोड़ा कम,
Totally.
बिकॉज that's the basic thing which we negotiate. We love to bargain, right? And that's the place where Indians bargain
Yes.
a lot. The question which I'm trying to get to, Shweta, is ये अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड को आपने ओके बोला कि ओके आई विल आल्सो एंटर इन एज वन ऑफ द अदर पर्सन, राइट? नाउ आई एम नॉट सेइंग इट इज completely unorganized. There are brands like there is Kalyan, there is there are many more Poplays, and there are so many jewelers now
Yes.
who've now made a
Yes.
commercial and they have now branches and all of that, right? uh, Now when you look at your business, right, Abhi, are you trying to compete with them, or are you trying to compete with that unorganized sector? Where are you trying to compete,
No,
or your
I'm
business is
completely
trying
to
to
the
compete?
organized. You won't believe I have not sold a single solitaire from my hand, which is not from the site holder. I never went. If anyone comes for me sasta, I say I cannot give you sasta. I can give you genuine. So my
Hmm.
whole fight sitting in Bhopal, where a money sensitive market, has been commanding making charges upfront, commanding for my diamond prices upfront, because if I say VS quality, it has to be VS quality. If I say it is GH, I have to give my lab my diamonds and they have to certify. I don't have to instruct them to write this for my certificate. So I have been very genuine in my practices, and that's why I could build a brand which is industry accepted. So Anish, you see in this 12 years of record, we have two Retail Jeweler India Award, which is like Oscar of Indian jewelry. We have among the Famina Fabulous Jewelry Award, which is like, in which Hazuri Lal,
Commercially.
Kalyan,
Yeah.
TVZ, all those people are being named. I have been facilitated in London as Inspiration Brand of India by WCRC leaders in the House of Lords by Lord Paul, Lord Meghan. So if this journey would have not been so genuine, it would have not been the industry, because there are so many designers within Bombay. Every second house sells
Yes.
jewelry.
Yes.
But do you think everyone is able to possibly make a brand out of itself? Everybody could get the kind of industry recognition which I have received. So there must be something which my industry must have seen in me.
Yep. So building brand,
Yep.
abhi building brand, right? So I'll just come to that perspective, right? Now Akarshan, completely net new. What was your journey of building that brand? Because especially in this space, right? Like you said, it's a completely
Yeah.
unstructured. There are already the big boys who are there. उसमें brand build करना and उसमें ये recognition पाना with the likes of those it's like a David and Goliath fight, right? You're having अभी उनके साथ
Yes.
लड़ना, right? From Bhopal,
Um,
right? Not
have
from
you seen
Bombay or
have you
Pune.
seen Lamborghini? Have you seen Lamborghini movie? How
No, I haven't.
Lamborghini came into existence?
No, I haven't.
Do see that. Lamborghini wanted to be with Ferrari. They wanted the guy wanted to compete with Ferrari, and he was a small town guy with who was a farmer's son, and he started Lamborghini as a tractor company, and
Hmm.
then he started building cars, and he wanted his car to be better than Ferrari. So I say no dream is a big dream if you have passion towards it. So when I started Aakarshan and I said there's no Tiffany in India, and I started focusing on I traveled through and through. So I traveled to Chantaburi, Bangkok, Hong Kong, London. I went to places around. I studied the complete supply chain. I went to Surat Mandi to see how diamond gets sold at Surat Mandi. I went to Panna mines to see how diamonds get mined and as a comes out of earth, and do you identify that they are the diamond roughs and all. So I had done a thorough study in my industries. When I knew the complete supply chain, I knew what I'm doing. I knew how to make it organized.
Hmm.
So then I saw the right players in my own markets. In Bhopal also, we have multiple players. But who is the person who sells actually genuine diamond? So only person I admire in Bhopal is that person. So I work only with that human for any work I have in Bhopal. So then and in like industry also, I made my a collaboration with only genuine people, because I only wanted to stay genuine and be genuine. So
Hmm.
I said that my parents wonder ki I want so many awards, acknowledgements and all. Still, where's the money? I am blessed that I don't have a single rupee loan or debt from anyone. I thrive on my own rotation and own money. But
Hmm.
trust me on this, selling the highest level of product. Because if you would go and you buy jewelry, you would think 10,000 times before buying it from a first generation, from a girl who's an entrepreneur who's trying to do something niche and has her own ways of doing stuff, and that to be sitting in a tier 3 city. So it
Yep.
wasn't easy. Nothing comes easy. But only thing is that I was completely into it. I have to make this happen. So I was completely dedicated towards it. So my
Okay.
whole journey had been focused ki no, this is how I wanna this is an I'm a little stubborn soul. I have this if I put my mind into anything, I put efforts towards it, because I'm you won't believe, Anis, my 12th class title was Hard Work Pays in the Long Run, Keep It Up. Imagine a 12th class girl who's good to look at, normally get a
Hmm.
compliment on their smiles, on their looks, or their anything. My
Right.
title for 12th class was Hard Work Pays in the Long Run, Keep It Up. So you can imagine the kind of person I have been through and through.
Hmm.
So that's why I said, okay, then I went to like my Bhopal, found my Karigas over here, found some local Jadao. But obviously, I do try something, but then Destiny has some other plans. So they have a lot of twist comes in. Then I encounter those challenges. Then I try next thing, because recently my 12-year-old Karigar gave me a loss of 60-gram gold. And he because I shifted to this new place, I don't know what made his mind go wrong. He was
Wow.
very loyal to me for 12 years, and suddenly people thought ki if I would lose my karigar, I may stop working. But then
Hmm.
I understood ki there were some other forces which were trying to stop me, so I gave my work to 10 different manufacturers, got 10 different collections done.
Wow.
So I'm a kind of person who finds out way, because if the moment life put any challenges, I stay ki, okay, how to overcome it. So my whole my thought process starts working towards it. We participated in India's first luxury festival, which was done by quintessentially in Delhi.
Hmm.
We became the silver sponsor for no Dubai-based EWPC wedding conference. So
Wow.
I tried things. Obviously, we are the first generation. We are not able to utilize the opportunities completely because we're still naive in many ways and we are novice because
Hmm.
nobody has done business, so we don't know how the world works. We are learning, we're growing, we're evolving every time. So but still we try to put our no do our best. If I said ki if I have given a choice ki which Taj I want to put my collection with, I chose Taj Palaknama because
Hmm.
I said ki because if I want to resonate Akarshan with luxury or a premium brand, I have to build Akarshan a way ki wherever Akarshan is present, it should make sense to my journey.
Hmm. So, Shweta,
So it's like
yeah,
conscious efforts.
no, no, it just what you were just saying, I could really see that there's a fierce lady who is very determined, focused, and के boss ये करना है, right? ये जिंदगी में ये हासिल करना है. So, just taking a little different step here. When you look at your business and when you look at your overall aspect, right? एक तो डीमिस्टिफाई करो मेरे लिए कि यार ये पुणे से भोपाल जर्नी कैसा हुआ, राइट? व्हाई भोपाल, right? Like I'm sure a lot of listeners will be saying,
Again, it was
why Bhopal happened to her?
yeah, because what had happened, Anis, as I said, I had my love marriage and I had my share of things in my marriage also.
Yeah.
So because my husband, we both were in IT, and
Okay.
2005 we got married, and 2007 we got Sanskrit in our hand. So February only. So it was like 1.5 year. We had a no daughter in our hand.
Hmm.
So I took a backseat in my career. So I always stayed offsite, working, sitting in India. I gave onsite to my husband because I said, okay, you grow.
Hmm.
So he started taking his no onsites from the very first year of marriage. So he was traveling a lot. But
Right.
what happened? I don't know. There are his share of things also. He traveled, but he never saved money. So he
Hmm.
would come back and he'll say, okay, fine, but he would travel again. So
Hmm.
I had not been supported financially also, and even he was not present for a very long time for 8 years. And the last patch was when he went to Dubai without us.
Hmm.
I said, can you take us this time? So he said, fine, I'm going to take you. But then he traveled. And when I went, because Sanskriti's passport was getting expired, I went to renew. He said, it cannot be done without your husband. And he said, I'm not going to be back for 6 months. And suddenly, and after 2 months, I came, no, my money is not being saved also. Like, and I was devastated. But I was in a situation where you would talk to me and I would cry. So
Hmm.
my father couldn't see me in that situation, and he said, "Ki you have taken enough no, plunges for no good 8+ years, and now and I was crying. I was crying like I was an uncontrollable crying. So my father said, "I'm taking you back to Bhopal. If he wants to stay with you, he'll come to Bhopal. Now you're not going anywhere." Because in that 8 year, I had no shift. I have stayed in Pune. Then I went to London for some time. Then I shifted to Gurgaon. Then I came back to Bhopal. Again, I shifted back to Pune. So I had taken a lot of plunges. So my father said, enough. You've taken, no, for your age, you have taken done enough. Now, and since kind of family I have been to and my parents have been very protective for me since childhood. And so he said, done enough. Come to Bhopal, whatever you want to do and however you want to, you have to be in Bhopal now because there's no other way. And I
Right.
also realized that at least I have to raise my daughter and at least I'll have my parents' support. And trust me, Anis, that was the best decision I have taken because no matter whatever life threw to me, I had my parents along my side. So when I
Hmm.
had them by my side, nothing could stop me.
Yeah. Interesting. No, these moments kind of reshape our entire journey, right? And that's what happened. Moving
Yeah,
to
and then
Bhopal
my
kind of.
husband also quit his job. And
Okay.
he also came back to Bhopal. Yeah, so initial 2 3 years he stayed with me in my business, and then he joined a government consulting. So now we are together as family. We did not break. We didn't let all these things no come because for to my daughter I want to give a complete family because I believe that childrens need both the parents. And as I said, ki apart from financial, my husband is a gem of a human. He is a great supporter in all aspects.
Hmm. Nice. Now, Shweta, this has
Yeah.
been a wonderful conversation, meaning I could dabble into many different aspects of your life, which is very interesting. Now, let's kind of, in the last few minutes, right, I want to talk a little bit about Akarshan now. how did that name come about? Like, why that name and why that focus on that name? I understand it from a Hindi
Yeah.
perspective, from the language perspective, but what is the meaning? Why did the name come about for you?
Yeah, and you see, because since I was in corporate world earlier and I have taken a lot of plunges in life, when I got into gemology, I read about these gems. I saw these auctions. I saw the kind of prices these gemstones fetches. When my
Right.
father introduced me, so I did a complete. I'm a very good research person. So I saw, lavish diamond, lemon diamonds, the fancy color diamond, the kind of pricing, the natural diamond, all those sapphires, the Kashmir sapphire. So
Yeah.
I was through with my study. So when I saw that a human who is so meager to give 1 rupee to anyone, ticket, if somebody would ask you 100 rupees, you'll think 10,000 times before giving 100 rupees.
Hmm.
If you go and buy anything, you would think that, but people spend lakhs and crores of money in these gemstones. So there's
Hmm.
some reason behind, there's a divine power of attraction in these gemstones, which make people work for it and which makes them command the price they command. So the whole concept which came to it came in my dreams. Trust me on this, many things has come to my dreams. So this was a thought which is come to me while I was sleeping. So I said the divine power of attraction, the Akarshan, because
Hmm.
um, you talk to any astrologer, you talk to your parents, even we Indians, we may not know all the gemstones of the world,
Yeah.
but we believe in it astrologically.
Yeah.
But the moment you travel outside India, Anish, the moment you're outside India, the jewelry has nothing but gemstones.
Yeah.
It is high jewelry or fine jewelry outside India.
Yeah.
If you go back to our mythology, if you see our kings and queens, you see no jewelry was jewelry without gemstones on it.
That's correct.
So रत्न जड़ित, हम जब अपनी देवियों की बात करते तो हम कहते हैं रत्न जड़ित.
Right.
So the gemstones, and trust me on this, I pity people who says gemstone is waste of money, because
Hmm.
रत्न सिर्फ सौभाग्य से मिलता है. मतलब the gemstone only come to the riches who are rich inside out.
Yeah.
It would not come to a poor mentality human. If you have a money but you have a poor mentality of money, then the gemstone will not come to you. Gemstones only will come to you when you have rich mentality.
No, this is very
So it's the
interesting. So,
divine power of attraction.
hmm. That's a very interesting concept. And every brand has a story, every name has a story, and Akarshan has a very interesting
Yeah.
story, like you said. No, Shweta, this has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you for taking time out. I know you're super
Yeah.
busy.
And Anis,
It's
do check out on Tiffany and Bulgari and the kind of prices they command for their gemstone jewelry, and even Bentley Farpel. They come up with beautiful stories. So I had so much inspiration in front of me to look up to.
Yes.
And that's what has been my quest.
No, and I hope you build another Tiffany, which is Akarshan for India. And congratulations on
Yes.
the Forbes Award and all the awards which you keep getting. It's just inspirational. And frankly speaking,
Thank
it's
you.
inspiration for many of us because you had your illustrious career in tech. I'm from a tech perspective, and you pivoted to completely something which is left field, which was never part of your career, right? So, congratulations on that. And
And Anis, I was a human who was like a non-jewelry human. Matlab, I was a nerd. My
yeah.
sister was completely into jewelry person. She loves a lot of jewelry. And I
Hmm.
was the kind of person who would I prefer traveling over jewelry. Matlab, if I had money, I used to spend on traveling. I went to Maldives when swine flu happened. I said, "Parag, saas lene se mar jate, chalo ghumte hain." So I'm a traveler by heart. Yeah.
Nice.
And I make jewelry out of because of I understand the importance of gemstones and the gold and the beauty, beside the high jewelry. But personally, as a human, I wear jewelry only so that my client sees and buys it.
Hmm.
Otherwise, if I have money, I'm more a traveling human.
Yeah. No, that's a great perspective. All of us need to start looking at gems in a very different way now from this conversation. And I thank you
Yes.
for your time, for taking time out, specifically in a busy time period where the sales are pretty high, the business is pretty big because it's a festive season in India. So thank you for
But
taking
Ani,
time out.
that's what I said. It is for the normal retailers. It's
Yeah.
for the normal retailers. In India, the designer jewelry, the gemstone jewelry, and the high jewelry still has a very, very small segment of customer to cater to. And it is mostly the retail stores, the normal jewelry, the gold jewelry, the jewelry as a commodity. They are has more high demands as compared to us.
Hmm.
But you see, there's a rise in the designer clothes in the Indian market.
Yeah.
Aza, Ogan, Furniers, Pop Shop, they're doing really good because there's a huge demand.
Yep.
Jewelry designers, it's still a very unsung heroes in India. Jewelry brands who are into niche segment still has to given a due place.
Yes. Hopefully, soon, probably next year itself, we will have its own space.
Certain.
So, congratulations and best of luck on the journey which you are at,
Thank you.
Shweta. And probably look forward to buying some of your pieces soon as well.
Pleasure. I would love to propose some for you. Even if you are a jewelry human, I make a lot of jewelry for men's as well. But we do customization.
Definitely look forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you.